do this? Who's in charge? You're in charge, aren't you?
Sure, why not?
Okay, what's next?
There's no staff over here?
There's no staff. I think we just look after ourselves.
Just do whatever you want.
Well, I'm the ranking staff for
I
this.
do?
He's in charge.
Yeah, no one else has a staff badge here? Test 1, 2. Here's a live mic.
Okay. No, go up there and start talking.
Yeah.
Should we do photos?
Photos? Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
it.
that's okay. That's okay.
Just let me know what you need. Now that I have the de facto.
You guys want it for your website?
So fabulous.
Let me grab my little smart girl. Smart.
Oh, you spend so much time.
Yeah, no, yeah. Okay. Just let me know which camera.
Oh, I'm on the ground.
It's really quiet. They should have some lounge music.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, hello. All right, go ahead. Start firing. It's going lower. It goes high, it doesn't go any lower. Oh, that works. Maybe we have two, we can have 3D. What if the sound will sound? Do you think sound 3D? Does it sound 3D?
Stereo.
Do I sound 3D? Do I sound 3D? Actually, sound more 3D than mine. All right. Shit. Who's first?
A lot of our fans, looking there after, a lot
Okay.
of our fans, we asked them a whole bunch of questions to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
One of our fans is an avid photographer. He wants to know currently what's your current camera that you're using, because he's obsessed with the fact that you love photography.
Okay. So I have an NEX 5N. Yeah, NEX 5N. And so I first started off many moons ago using a Canon IXI as compact cameras. And this was in 2007, 2008, and I just wanted like better quality photos. So I upgraded to a Canon KISS. And but after using that for a while, I felt that it was like really big and bulky to carry around. So I started going for the Micro Four Thirds, and which is the Lumix, the GF series. So I started using that for a while, but I found that the low level noise processing of the GF series didn't quite meet my needs of photography in darkness. So after we started TV production, I found out that the Sony low light Expo sensor was quite good. So I used to be a Sony fanboy, then I turned into a non-Sony fanboy. I used to buy Clio, Vios, everything. And then it was like all the Vios, you had to use that particular installation of Windows, they came with no drivers, and then I became anti-Sony. And then after starting film production, I started to appreciate how nice the equipment was. So all my equipment is now Sony. So we're using the Sony NEX series right now. So I know the NEX 6 and 7 came out, but I'm waiting for one where the back the screen can flip all the way around, and it's a touch sensor. So I'm still waiting for that.
Right, you did have that.
Yeah, the problem with that is when you put on the what you call it, the viewfinder, it blocks that the flipping LCD, which is not that clever. But anyway, so I got that. Then lately I started using this RX 100 over here. So it's really easy to get nice bokeh on this, and I like this camera so much that when I first got it, I dropped it and it exploded. And usually when something explodes, you go for another model or something. But I bought the same one. So there you go. All right, who's next? Where's my water? You know, I try to drink my water. That's fine.
No.
Oh, it's not.
This is my one.
Oh, sorry. I can tell because I leave a certain smell on it. Yes. Right.
Most of us know you from, or at least got first exposure to you from the Tokyo Dance Trooper videos. Then next thing I saw was you doing Nikon commercials, and now all of a sudden you're doing the Anime Expo, pretty much media, media coordination. I was just curious as how exactly you went from there all the way to here.
I think what I tend to notice is that I try to dabble in lots of different things. I mean, they say that variety is the spice of life, and I think that by having many different spices, that you get different kinds of interactions with like different groups of people and so on. And so I think one of the things which I recommend doing is to try as many different things as you can, given your current resources. So it's not, I mean, nothing I do is particularly planned, because I feel that if you plan too far ahead, you won't get anything done. So I just tend to do it. So like the stormtrooper stuff, I got this armor, and I thought that one day I would just go out and maybe try dancing on the streets. So that's how that started. And so with these dolls over here, which we're manufacturing right now, so I haven't made dolls before, and there's lots. It's a very involved process. It's like molds. It's like different plastic properties, and there's like the wigs, the eyes, the clothes, and so on and so on. But if we planned all the different stages of that, there wouldn't be anything sitting on here. So we just tend to go for it and just learn as we go. So to answer your question regarding videos, that's what we do basically. We just carry a camera out. These days the cameras they take HD video, and it's very easy to just do it basically.
Actually, I was trying to figure out, how you went from that to doing Nikon commercials and then doing, Anime Expo coordination. I mean, what was the?
I don't think there's any relation within those videos on YouTube, because that's not really my line of work. I do that as a hobby. Okay. So the Nikon commercial came about because I knew people at Wyden and Kennedy, and they were the advertising agency who handled that Nikon account. And I met the boss of Wyden and Kennedy at an event which I was talking at in Los Angeles in 2008 actually. So that's my first time over here. It was called Impress. Okay. And it was about Asians actually. They had a load of Asians come along and speak about what their work and stuff like that. So that's how the Nikon stuff came about. And then now this Anime Expo came about mainly because I just share my interests on the internet, and I find that when I do that, I connect with lots of different people. So today I met a lady from Hyper Japan in the UK, and she's sitting over here. So Hyper Japan is it's like an Anime Expo in the UK, and I don't know her at all, and but she knew me through my writings. So that's why I find this very important. So I share stuff, and then I get to connect with other people. So to answer your question, I think that is basically just sharing and connecting, basically.
Why do you think the popularity of anime has expanded globally so large and so fast?
I think that one of major influences is the internet. So when I first started off liking Japanese culture, we had to watch it on VHS tapes. Does anyone remember VHS tapes? You're all too young. So VHS tapes, and I had to like get them from a Japanese bookshop in the UK, and they were recording Japanese TV shows and renting out these videos illegally. But it was a very important source for me to get hold of like anime and Japanese dramas and so on. And so on. But I was very reliant on having this like single location where I would have to take a train and go there and grab these videos. But now with the internet, it's very easy to find something online these days, and I think that definitely has contributed to the proliferation of Japanese anime.
How started the idea of the Culture Japan Expo?
Culture Japan Convention is a new convention which I am running in. We're starting off in Penang. It's a little small island in Malaysia, and so we have this event called Culture Japan Night, and it started very small, whereby our readers would gather together, and we do that everywhere I go in the world, and it's really nice because no matter which part of the world I go in, I always find there's readers and viewers of our TV show and website, and then it seemed to slowly get bigger, and the last one we had was in Penang. This was in January, I think that was the last one. I can't remember, probably was. And I thought, okay, Penang is a small island in Malaysia. Maybe 25 people would come. And then 1,000 people came along. So we were very surprised. And so the Penang tourism is very interested in using mice. So there's a term called mice, which the governments, like the Thai, I was invited to Thai to speak about mice. And Japan's METI, which I'm a committee member of, they have been talking about MICE recently as well. So MICE stands for Meetings, Incentives, Conferences and Exhibitions, I think. And it's a way of having a conference to bring in tourism to your country. So people travel to US for Anime Expo and so on and so on. So Penang is very interested in using this MICE concept. And so we decided to work together. So they pay for the venue, and then I work with getting all the guests and the branding. And we decided to do this event. Starting off very small, a few guests, including Asakawa Yu, the voice actress for Meguri Iruka. So she will be coming along. And that's going to be next month, on the 17th and 18th. And it's a big challenge because there's lots involved in putting together a conference, but I think it's going to be a great learning experience. And again, if we planned too long ahead, then nothing would get done. So we'll do it, use our knowledge that we currently have, and learn as we go along. And then hopefully it'll start getting bigger, and we'll expand it to other parts of the world.
Other than your line of dolls that you're producing, is there anything new you're going to add to Mariah's, just add more to her? Because I know she has cars, she has other things going on.
So my vision for... Shame I don't have a projector today. So lately she's been doing lots of different collaborations. So she's collaborated with Vox. So some people thought that Vox was my competitors because they make another line of dolls. But actually work very close with them. And so Mirai, she's become a mascot character for Vox. And she's become a mascot character for Lawson, the convenience store chain in Japan. And got something with me? I like this. This is a Kinokuniya members card, and my mascot characters on it. So these privilege cards, these are member cards. So if you become a member of Kinokuniya, you can get lots of discounts. So I really recommend you do that. So sometimes it's 20% discount off a book, which is quite a bit of change. And so Mirai-chan has become the privilege card of Kinokuniya in Malaysia, and this will roll out worldwide. So quite pleased with this. We also worked with Air Asia, so they're like a low-cost carrier in the Asian region. So they started their flights between Malaysia and Tokyo, and the vision is to have Mirai-chan become a global brand, basically. So I'm actually working with, can't quite mention his name right now, but how should I call this? A scenario writer to write a 13 episodes anime for Mirai Millennium. So he's worked on things like Cowboy Bebop and Ghost in the Shell and Eden of the East and so on and so on. And so the scenario is actually complete right now. And then the next step is to decide whether we want to release a light novel first or go for the anime route. So I personally want to release a light novel first. And another thing which I want to try myself is, instead of like going through the normal publishers like Kadokawa or Kodansha, I want to do it myself basically. And it's like learning I want to gain. And then after I've learned how to do it, I want to like share the knowledge with everyone else so that they can do it themselves as well. So for the production of these dolls over here, I share all the knowledge I gain, all the mistakes I make with other people so that they can learn from my mistakes, basically. So everything from the molds, the sculpting, and so on and so on. So that's what I'm working on for Mirai next. It's the story, and there'll be more Japanese learning products, but pretty much focusing on these line of dolls full time. So some of you may know or may not know that these dolls are, it's actually the world's first 3D printed interactive Android controlled robot. So this one doesn't move because at this moment in time I need my engineers with me, and they like hook her up and like move her and stuff like that. But by hopefully October or so, I can actually bring her around and like just control her via my Android device and show you how she moves and stuff. So what else did I want to say? So all the robot stuff started off as an April Fool's. So the doll was real. I just wanted to say, okay, on April Fool's, let's just say that the doll inside is a robot. And then so we put lots of CG graphics together, but we went a step ahead and made sure that all the CG was created from like real motors, real servo motors. So the CGs were rendered with the same techniques they use in like Transformers and so on and so on. If you've seen like the making of Transformers or like any of those Hollywood movies, you'll see lots of silver balls like just floating around. So they actually take a reflection of whatever's around it and map that onto the surface as lighting. So that's what makes those CG look so real. So we use the same sort of techniques. And then the Japanese robotics industry, they started to talk about it a lot. And then I got together with them and said, okay, let's make this. And then 2 months later, we have a working prototype. So, and then I thought, why stop at having just a robot, which could end up just like Aibo. So Aibo, I don't know whether you know, it's a robot that Sony developed. It's a little dog, and it's like really cute, but you couldn't really do much with it. But with our dolls, we wanted to make it interactive with social media. So, so basically, my first goal is to have her sitting on the edge of the desk. She'll like swing her legs back and forth, look around the room, and when you get to like a Facebook notification, she'll like let you know, hey Danny, you got a Facebook notification. But she'll say in a cuter voice. You can download extra motions, voice patterns from the Google Play Store. And we can also monetize with that as well. All right, what's next?
How do you define your company in this industry?
So I've been thinking about that a lot actually, and I think from outside it's quite confusing what I do, and sometimes I found it very difficult to articulate exactly what I do as well, until I had to write a job description. So we're hiring 4 people right now, including like marketing, events, retail, graphic designers to work with me in Tokyo. And so we're going to cover the costs of like bringing them over, sponsoring their visas. And to put these job descriptions up, I had to like write about the company first. And I had to write about the company and really think about like what does our company really do. And so I just summarize it into like a sentence, which is to share and make Japanese culture more accessible to the world. And we do that through TV, the web, and through products, basically. So to answer your question, I think that for me, because I really love Japanese culture, really love anime culture as well. Lots of what I share is has like Japanese anime culture involved, and most of my clients are anime industry clients, basically. So we develop a web platform called Mirai Gaia. So my background is IT, and so website manager at Amazon, product manager at Microsoft. And so we have this web platform that we developed called Mirai Gaia, and that's used by folks like Konami and Bushiroad and so on and so on. So that's basically our role in this industry. Okay.
How do you feel about live streaming as an emerging form of media, and how do you think it'll change how we experience events like Anime Expo?
Mm. Is Anime Expo being streamed this time?
Well, there's like Crunchyroll down there. They do a lot of live streaming, but
Oh,
they're doing a bit of this, like their own event, but not the event entirely.
I think. I'll tell you something. Just don't tell anyone. So one of the reasons why lots of events are not streamed, I mean not just Anime Expo, there's like lots of other events as well, is because of rights issues. Because Japanese artist comes along and there's like particular rights as to like what they can sing, what they can say, and so on and so on. If they pass by camera and it's like streaming, then like somebody would get in trouble. She was streamed to how many potential viewers? Like 1 million. Okay, so that's 1 million times $1, and it just gets like really messy afterwards. But I think that with the proliferation of a broadband, that it's going to be like much more easier to like stream something which is like not all blocky. And so I'm actually interested in like doing more streaming. So we have a TV show called planned called Tokyo Tea Time, where I and another MC will be reporting from different parts in Tokyo and talking about like life in Tokyo and otaku life and so on and so on. So for me, it's going to be a very important medium for me to like share culture with the rest of the world.
It's a very trivial question, but I'm very curious. I remember reading in your blog that you were a fan of a certain idol.
Mm-hmm.
Have you met her?
So I talked about an idol called Nishida Hikaru, and so she's like a really cute idol, and I discovered her many years ago in a Japanese bookshop. She was on the cover of this magazine, and so kind of fell in love with her. And started to like do lots of Japanese self-study, started weight training and stuff like that. I haven't mentioned that anyway, actually. But yeah, I did manage to meet her. I think I wrote about it, whereby I actually put on a pair of rollerblades, got a bunch of flowers, and like chased after her. And but I haven't met her since. But we have been talking of like trying to like reenact that scene for one of my TV shows. So and one of my comrades just happens to know her, so we may do that. Right.
So you first moved to Japan in 1999?
1999-ish, yeah, something like that, yeah.
So, as you know, Tokyo's bidding for the 2020 Olympics. Why do you think Tokyo would be the ideal hosting country for the Olympics?
So I personally think that Tokyo would be a good place because, well, for a few reasons. So one of the reasons is that I really do feel that Japanese culture really like brings together people around the world. So Anime Expo is like a great example, whereby like folks from like really all over the country, all over the world gather together. And I feel that there's like so many Japan type events like all over the world which really do bring people together. And that's what the Olympics is supposed to be about. So by holding them in Tokyo, I feel that it's going to like generate lots of interest like within Japan and like just like bring everyone together as one basically. So so that's one of the reasons. Any other questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask regarding the dolls after you mentioned it.
At this particular moment in time, we're going to focus on Mirai right now, and we can do like licensed dolls, just like other companies, but at the moment focusing on Mirai.
If you can even talk about it, I was curious as to the development costs of the Mirai doll overall, both in terms of time and money, and what you expect to be selling her at.
So at this moment in time, I don't really have a product manager, and so I do the management of the whole project myself, basically. And the factories are in Tokyo, on the outskirts of Tokyo, in Kanamachi. So Kanamachi is an area whereby there's lots of factories whereby you can make lots of different things. Lots of plastics, like Takaratomi is located in that area as well. So lots of toy companies gathered around Kanamachi. I think after the last World War, and many of them are still there. Many of them have actually gone, but there are still some folks around over there. So I travel there quite often. But yeah, it does take up lots of my time right now. We have been able to save on costs because we've done everything in 3D. All the sculpting was done in 3D. So the main sculpting of this whole doll was done in about 6 weeks. And it's traditionally done by sculpting a piece of scalpy or clay. And that could take up to like a year, depending on that person's schedule. So I've actually been trying to develop these dolls for 2 years, and I've been trying to look for sculptors and just haven't been able to come across anyone who can do this. And another thing is, if you sculpt in scalpy, do you know what scalpy is? It's like clay. If you sculpt it and it's wrong, or you want to change something, then it's a nightmare. You have to really go in and just chop it out and stuff like that. With 3D, you just pull a few pins and slide a few bars, and then you change it. So you have been able to save money in that area. Regarding the costs, I can't quite tell you right now until I figure out what the total costs are going to be closer to the time. Because at the moment, it also depends on the quantity as well, and I guess my bargaining skills as to, okay, I'm going to make this much, then give it to me for this price, or I'll do this favor for you, or I'll introduce this person to you, and so on and so on. So I'll know much more closer to the time, but they will be out this year. I plan to have them out this year.
Since you are a counselor for the Japanese government, how do you see right now the industry of anime from Japan to overseas?
How do I see the industry of anime?
Yeah, I mean, for example, from one way, there are a lot of fans, foreign fans that love anime, and sometimes the Japanese industry is a little bit like.
Oh, okay. So, so Japan's first and foremost priority is actually Japan, because Japanese fans they actually buy the DVDs and Blu-rays, and they really make up a huge chunk of the costs which are involved in making an anime. So making anime is it's quite costly. But depending on the Blu-ray sales, it's usually the Blu-ray sales which make up a huge chunk of recuperating costs, basically. So that's one of the reasons why they're really focused on the Japanese market, is because they really need to think about the Japanese market first, because they know that they're going to recoup a certain amount from them. So I personally think there's something wrong with the way anime is licensed at this moment, whereby, so I've seen some anime titles licensed for, it depends on the title, so I heard there was one which was licensed for $3,000, and it's 12 episode anime, and that's just not the right way to do stuff, basically. And the costs of DVD sold over here really, really cheap, compared to in Japan as well. So I think that I don't know what the solution is, but there must be a smarter way for maybe publishers over here like Funimation or whoever to like work much more closely with the folks in Japan to like come up with a way so that it's just like a bit more. It's not just so much focused on the Japanese market; it focuses on the global market as well, basically. So I still don't know what the answer is right now, but it's something that I think about a lot.
Do you feel that region coding on DVDs and Blu-rays is interfering with Japan being able to direct market their products to the U.S.?
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not a fan of region encoding as well, because I think that there are fans of Japan who like prefer the Japanese packaging, the Japanese language, and so on and so on. So I don't see why they shouldn't be able to like get hold of that and like play it on their home like DVD player. So I do feel that does interfere with what the fans really want. I mean, there are fans who like want subs, which is subs or dubs, which is fine. But then there are like fans who like really want the original content, and I don't see why they should be denied of that. So I see lots of things in the anime industry whereby they block access from America and so on and so on. I think that as time goes by, the anime industry will like start to observe other Japanese companies which are really proactive in like reaching out into other regions. So like Good Smart Company, for example, they make like figurines and they do lots of anime production as well. So they participate in lots of events around the world, and they're very proactive in like reaching out to like folks around the world. So I think that as they do that, other Japanese companies would observe what they're doing and follow suit. So hopefully it should get better over time.
There are a lot of like obvious name dropping of name brands in a lot of anime series. How come there's no product placement? Because then that could be like another revenue stream for the industry.
Yeah, I remember asking something about that. I can't remember what they said about that, but well, there was like things like Dr. Pepper and like Pizza Hut and like certain anime shows like that. Yeah. I personally believe that could be a good way to like monetize from making an anime, but I need to like look into that a little bit more to like find out why exactly they don't do it.
Yeah, I was wondering if like legal's different over there, or if it's just it's one thing to pay homage to it, but if you know it's getting a paycheck, then it's not like it's not authentic maybe.
Yeah. So this Steins Gate, did that get like localized for the American audience over here?
Steins Gate, yes.
Yes. Was that still Dr. Pepper, or did it turn into something else?
Honestly, I don't know. I just know that Funimation picked it up.
All right. Okay. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. So yeah, I'll look into it.
I know it was like Tiger and Bunny, which was almost nothing but.
Yeah. So was that still?
Yeah.
So for Tiger Bunny, was that still like Gyukaku? And so Gyukaku is actually a chain of beef, like yakiniku beef in Japan, but it's like absolutely no meaning over here. So what did they do to that in Tiger Bunny for the American audience?
They left it.
They left it like that.
Yeah, but they also had Pepsi Next and other stuff like that.
All
They
right.
left it exactly as it was.
Oh really? Oh, interesting. Right.
Going back to the previous question, do you think that now that we have services like Crunchyroll and Daisuke, maybe the Japanese anime industry will open a bit more?
I think that so they do have access to view counts like on Crunchyroll and Daisuke, but I think that it needs to be a bit more. All right. So I hear that view counts are they're quite healthy, but they're not as much as it could be. So for example, when you go to Choo.com, you can find like download counts of like particular torrents, and it's like really crazy numbers, like 300,000 downloads for a particular torrent. But when you compare that to like views on like maybe Crunchyroll or Daisuke, it's not as comparable. So I think that we could do a better job of like encouraging people to like watch officially on like Crunchyroll or Daisuke. And then I think more of the Japanese anime industry would follow suit in like taking more notice. Do you all watch anime on Crunchyroll?
Yeah.
All of you?
Do you feel when Japan's able to direct market their products to the U.S. and directly sell to us, do you think that would cut down on some of the piracy?
I think that, so having a look at the Good Smart booth today, so they brought along like some exclusive like Nendroids, and they had this like queue going around like 3 times. So I definitely do think that having them bring over stuff themselves really does help. And so for us, this is our first time to have a booth in the US, and so we bought quite a few t-shirts. We sold more than half in the first day. And, but we've been doing very well in Asia. And so all our stuff is obviously legit. And so going by sales, we can definitely say that you know, there are folks in the regions out there who really do prefer like legit merchandise. So I've conveyed that to my committee members, and so they are aware that people are not just after pirated goods. Because it's always been that Japan thinks that foreigners only buy pirated material. It's always been like that. And so I've told them that it's not like that. And there's another committee member, he's the boss of Hori Production, Hori Pro. And he said the same thing. So his artists do well in China. And he said that the Chinese, even though like a CD costs, I don't know, like a month's salary or something like that, they still buy CDs. The official CDs, because it has sound on them. Did you get that? Did you get that? So yeah, I think that definitely by having them come over themselves, things will get more better. And it's also better for the consumers over here, I think. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, do you find anything interesting in the trend of anime culture right now? And do you think the audience become more picky about the production about the anime, and you feel more pressure about
So hold on. So the first part of the question was
any interesting trends?
interesting trends in anime that I've observed. That's a good question. It's a good question. I haven't really thought about it. I think it could be that I'm like so involved in the anime industry in Japan. So I work very closely with Production IG and Nitro Plus. You know, they do Fate Zero and Steins Gate and so on. So Robotics Nerds, Psycho Plus. I don't know, maybe I've come very I don't know what's the word, desensitized to like any like really trendy trends. So really trendy trends. I don't know. I can't quite think of any like really trendy trends which you may not be aware of. And the second part of the question was?
And do you think the audience become more picky?
Oh, so picky. I do hear lots of people complaining about moe anime, right? They say, look, this is too much oppai. I can't watch this with my wife. Right? So I'm saying the same thing here, actually. But oppai does sell. It sells a lot, actually. So they have these Blu-ray copies, and it's like, so the anime version will have like light sources, which are just like here, or like little bats, things which are like color screen. But the Blu-ray version, they're like all gone, right? And people pay for that sort of stuff. So, but again, I mean, if you don't, you're not forced to watch any of that. And I think there's lots of other variety for you to check out as well. So I guess it really depends on the user, really. Regarding the way that the anime industry recoups from merchandise, figures being one of them, people have become more picky about figures, because lately the quality is like very high, no matter which company has been releasing them. And because they come out like so often, you know, you run out of space, and so people are very picky about the merchandise they buy, I feel.
And do you feel more pressure?
Hmm?
Do you feel more the pressure?
How do you mean?
I mean, as
Yeah, so anime industry, they really don't know whether an anime is going to become a hit or not. So lots of anime titles, they actually make a loss, and the reason why they continue is because if they release 10 titles, then one of them is going to, it usually becomes a hit, and that covers the costs of everything else, basically. So they really don't know. So I spent lots of time with the Nitro Plus boss, Mr. Kosaka-san, and they had like no idea that Madoka Magica was going to be a hit, absolutely no idea. And they really don't know whether something has hit until sales of the first Blu-ray. So I know that Suisei no Gargantia was like very popular. I mean, I love watching it, and it looks very popular online. But they don't really know until the sales of the first Blu-ray. So depending on those sales, they know whether it's going to be a hit or not, and then they kind of like decide whether they want to continue the season or whatever.
Did they ever do like focus groups or like like market segment planning or anything, or they just kind of like release stuff and they
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think it's very unlikely that they would do any of these like focus groups because it's very secretive as to like what people are working on. So yeah, it's very unlikely that there would be any focus groups.
What was the production like to get Mirai into an Android?
Oh, so I'm very friendly with the boss of Good Smart Company. His name is Aki Takanori, and I've known him for many years. And so before the Nendroid, there was a Figma, so we worked together on the Figma. So the Figma, I left the production to them, but this time, as we develop our brand, so I'm kind of like very picky about how I want the eyes to look at, like the position of the eyes, the coloring, and so on and so on. So I was very involved in the Nendroid production. So I chose all the bits and pieces that came with it. I suggested that we had a small pack of Moicano with it. And so the design of the face, so we done that ourselves, basically. But the rest, we basically left everything to them. And when the first designs came back, I would say, okay, I want the eyes a little bit bigger, the mouth should be bigger, and so on and so on. So, but it's a pretty straightforward process because they've done it for like so many years now. It's a very automated process. So they can like roll off like new collaborations off the production line very easily.
You posted around April Fool's, so I didn't take it too serious and I didn't hear much about it after, but is there anything in the works about bringing Mirai to an audience performance?
So yeah, that was so the Miku Miku Dance version of Mirai Sonaga. So that was an April Fool's, but I forgot to announce that it was an April Fool's afterwards. And I thought that after seeing like lots of Miku Miku Dance videos, it would be very interesting to have our own one. And so we've actually got two. There's another one which hasn't been released yet, but it's just very interesting to see how users use that model to like create not only dancing models but like visual renderings as well. And it's just like something that gives like a fan of Mirai to be creative with, basically. So I think there's going to be more MMD models coming in the future.
About the Mirai clock, I was wondering if you plan, what kind of adjustments are you planning for it? Because I've heard lots of people say that it's very cute, but it's not very useful. Like if you could put it on your lock screen or something like that.
Yeah. So one of the things about what we do is that we need to really think about, because we have a very limited amount of resources, really limited amount. So we need to decide, what we do mostly is concentrate on the big stuff that makes lots of impact rather than concentrate on lots of little stuff, basically. So we do want to get all the little stuff done, but we make a sacrifice and then we concentrate on the big stuff, which takes much longer to do, really. So regarding Mirai Clock 3, there's lots of things I want to do with it, but again, it's a matter of resources. So I have my resources working full-time on Anime Expo, and then now it's Culture Japan Convention, and so on and so on. So Mirai Clock 3, when you compare it to like everything else, it's of much lower priority. So we'll get there in the end, but it really depends on the resources, and which is why we are looking for 4 full-time staff right now.
If Mirai were to turn into a live-action movie show, do you have an idea actress or person that you want to play her, and you just know it's her?
Not really, but I'd asked J.J. Abrams if he was interested. So yeah, people get surprised when I say I know J.J. So yeah, when the Mirai Millennium script has been translated in English, I'll just like show it to him, see what he thinks of it, and then we'll go from there.
What aspects of what you're doing now do you enjoy doing the most, and what is your ultimate goal or dream?
So what I enjoy doing the most is it's a bit sadistic actually. It's so I love annoying my trolls. So I've got lots of trolls around the world, and they support me in many ways by identifying areas where I've dropped the ball, and so I can really tailor my writings and my content so that I cover those patches up, and they help me a lot doing that. So I'm really grateful. And so I'm very aware that they kind of follow me very closely on Twitter, Facebook, and every time I feel that I've achieved a goal, I do my just as Keikaku face, and so that's so yeah, that kind of makes me happy. So that's one thing. Another thing that makes me much more happy is meeting my readers from all around the world. So I go to I went to, where was it? Was it this year? It was this year. I went to Thailand for the first time, and it's completely a different country to any other country that I've been to. The writing, the way everything is, and there's lots of Mirai-chan. We went to the Thailand game show, and I found out there was lots of Mirai-chan cosplayers, lots of Mirai-chan fans. And we had Culture Japan night, lots of people came along, and even though I didn't know anyone, through the content I was sharing, I had so many friends out there, which I was completely unaware of. So that's the best thing about my job, is to meet people from anywhere I go around the world. And again, that's thanks to Japanese culture that I'm able to connect with so many people.
And what's your ultimate goal or dream?
So one of my goals is to have Mirai as a global brand, a bit like Hello Kitty. So I don't know whether she's going to be as big as Hello Kitty, but I'll do it in stages. I'll just do these collaborations one by one, basically. Another one is to have all these robots as a household appliance, just like iRobots, which cleans your floors. Right? And then once they're household appliance everywhere, I can turn on the Skynet switch. But no, I'll continue to share Japanese culture, and I do want to extend my reach of our brand around the world. And as we do so, we'll be hiring more staff who are interested in working with our team to do the same sort of thing. Right. Anyone else? Is it the folks over there?
Yeah, we are running on top time, so it's gonna be the last question.
Oh, okay.
Last year, how'd the car tossing incident turn out?
Car tossing? Oh, yeah. So that was, I felt really bad about that. So I threw some moikana into the audience. And I threw one too hard and I hit someone in the head. He left a mark in his head over here. I think he was a reader of mine. And he said, well, at least I can say that I was nearly killed by Danny Chin. So I'll never ever throw anything into audience again, unless it's maybe banknotes or something. I don't know. All right, is that it? No, you just go. Okay, so. All right, I think it's about it.
Do you guys think for shooting?
I think they are.
You already did it?
You did it at the beginning.
Yeah.
Let me take a photo with all of you. We'll take more photo. We'll get my man, Jim. So this is not wide, so it doesn't really stand up here. Already? Where should we stand? Let's stand on the carpet over there. Oh, okay. Thanks. Can you see back there? Do you want to come in front? Yeah, come. Please come in. Don't be shy.
Just want to make sure everyone see everyone.
If you can see the lens, then you can see you, then you'll be okay.
Yeah.
You guys ready? Yeah.